wrestling fans, and especially 12 gauge pro wrestling fans. Joining me on a special edition Strong Style is my guest at this time. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Crunkk, joining the show. How are you, bud?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's just another beautiful day in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then I'm going to be watching some Thursday night football, got some money on the line, and going to see how it goes.
Well, we will throw this out there so people can make fun of me for the next 20 minutes. And do not take my Cowboys tonight.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to, I didn't bet any money line on who's going to win.
Okay. Okay. Good.
I only bet like stats when it comes to NFL, but you never know. They could upset them. It would be crazy.
They could. Um, I think a fantasy perspective, I'm kind of hoping the opposite, but that's neither here nor there. This is a wrestling podcast, so we'll get more into football on a different show on this one. But
Right.
it is good to have you on, and more importantly, it is good to have you back in wrestling. We saw kind of your return at the last 12 gauge show, and first off, let's just get into that. What was it like to be back in there?
Oh man, I was honestly like really scared uh, that I would have lost my step or lost my groove or however you say it.
Yeah,
Getting in the ring, I was so worried that I would just get insanely blown up or like forget or maybe not remember to tuck my chin. Just the most simple things in wrestling that
oh,
you
yeah,
think
yeah.
is like riding a bike. And luckily, I think that this is what I was meant to do. And so when I step in that ring, get in the ropes, it really just kind of clicks for me and the gears start turning and it all just came right back. And I feel like I really put on a good performance and showed people that, hey, like Chris Crunkk isn't just back to be like another guy. Chris Crunkk is back to be the guy.
Yeah, I definitely felt that vibe, and I would definitely say that as well. Because when I found out that you'd been away for a while and that you were coming back, I did reach out to people in the wrestling community I knew, and I said, "Tell me about him." I was like, "I've heard the name. I didn't do as much indie stuff over the years as well, so kind of tell me who he is and all." And everybody's like, "Look, when he's on, he's the guy, and if we can get that guy to come back, then he's the guy." And I definitely felt like that to come back and after such a hiatus and be in the main event and shine like you did. I thought definitely that was good to have you back.
Yeah, I do really appreciate that. It is my one true love is being a pro wrestler and being in pro wrestling. And so to not have it is torture, but to be there is just like, I don't know. It's just everything that I could have ever wanted growing up. So it felt great to be back.
I tell people there is nothing like a live show. I could say that about a lot of other sports and things too, but there is nothing like a live pro wrestling show. I don't care what level it is.
Right. I agree.
And then a lot of people said it was a promo. I said it was just a passionate speech that you cut after the match you had and after the hoopla because of course the Lethal Games trio tried to get
Yep.
in there and ruin the party as they are so good at doing. But you actually grabbed the microphone. I don't think that was something planned. You grabbed the microphone and told everybody how you feel and what kind of went behind that.
Well, it's a very Chris Crunk thing to do. Is if I feel like I have something to say, I'm probably going to get the microphone and say it, whether it's planned or not. And I've of course ruffled some feathers that way, but I just really wanted to take the time to one show everybody that my confidence is where it needs to be, and that also my confidence with 12 gauge is there because a lot of people probably didn't know that if I'd ever wrestled for 12 gauge. I didn't know if I'd ever wrestled 12 gauge because from day one I had said no, not as in like in a negative way. It's just like I went through such a controversial like experience with like a former tag partner of mine where like everything for me dramatically changed and I did not expect any of that to ever happen. So I really didn't know what was next for me or if I even should try to do this anymore. Uh, and 12 gauge, like Rocky Shaw, was a good friend of mine. And honestly, it kind of always been there in my corner and been there to like hold my back to kind of support me. And I really did need that. And I really appreciated it. And I wanted him to know that like my confidence is also with 12 gauge that I do believe that what he's doing can be good for Georgia wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. That's part of it's not just because they're a show within driving distance. No, I really do think he's doing some really good things, and that's why I'm trying to tell as many people as possible that if you're in the Rome or Calhoun area, 12 Gauge is the show to go check out.
Right. I agree.
But it wasn't just you solo up there. There was another person that I had to get to know because I didn't know you were bringing your buddy. His Joey, right?
Joey Gambino.
Joey Gambino. We cannot forget the Gambino here. Tell us a little bit about Joey and how long have you known him?
Look, so Joey Gambino is actually my closest shoot friend, as we call it in the wrestling business.
Hmm.
Where I don't know where I'd be in real life without that tall drink of water. Because there was a time when, and same for him, where we didn't have anybody but ourselves. We don't have family or anything like that. So at the end of the day, we're just brothers against the world. And it's always been that way. And so uh, he was there for me back in the day when I first got into music. I used to be in the music scene like pretty heavy, and he was around and he really like helped me with that. And I had the ticket to get into wrestling, and I knew that he loved wrestling, and so I kind of just like uh, basically forced him down people's throats a little bit, and was like, hey, like we're gonna put this guy on the show, uh, whether you like it or not. And but every time he gets in the ring, he delivers with his promo. He
Yeah.
makes sure that he entertains, and to be honest, he makes it insanely better for me to be there.
And then I don't know if it's going to be if it was a one-off or if this is you guys are going to cross paths more often too. But I did get a handful of questions, especially when I reached out to people and said that you were going to be on. That I do know that that was the first time you met Roxy, who is also new to wrestling. But she came out with you as well, and you guys made a pretty formidable trio there.
Yes. We I'm gonna go ahead and like announce this on your podcast because like this is exclusive because we have not
Yeah,
told anyone this. We are going to be now known as the Weapons of Mass Seduction.
I love it, love it.
So Roxy is actually like she is a little sister to me. I've seen her like grow from here to here type situation. Her family has always been like so good to me. And so I noticed she was on the show and that she had like been trying to get into wrestling. I got there pretty early and helped her out in the ring a little bit. Like we worked out a little bit together
Yeah.
and some bumps and stuff. And I was like, I went up to Rocky and I was like, what is she doing on the show? And he goes, well, we were going to have her come out and pick the raffle ticket, just kind of like
Slap
get a
Kyle
little,
charisma, just small stuff.
yeah, get a little exposure. And I was like, let her come out with me. Who cares? I was like, it really does. Cause like at the end of the day, like that stuff does not matter. But what does matter is that experience in front of the crowd. Uh, any kind of exposure you can get in front of a crowd is important.
Hmm.
And I don't think anything's more important than watching the main event of a show in general, because that's when you're going
Yeah.
to learn the most. And that's whether, and I'm not just saying that because I was in the ring. I'm saying that like if I'm on a show, I'm watching that main event because I want to know
Yep.
why they're in the main event and who they are.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I tell people. I sometimes will accidentally tell behind the curtain things to people in the front row next to me a lot of times, but I always say, look, whatever the first match on the card is what they think the second best match of the night is going to be. They want
Right.
to start off with a banger. They want to get your attention early. They'll sprinkle the other ones throughout, and then your main event is your main event. So basically, your co-main event's the first. I was like, but not only should you figure out why the first match is what it is, when you get to the main, figure out why that is supposed to be better than the first, and
Right.
and like you said, why those people are in that spot.
Right.
I'm reading some of the fan questions that are being sent
Oh,
in
that's okay.
as we're talking too, and there's one in particular we'll get to in a minute. But you also said something that I know made it really popped Rocky, and because he did not expect you to say that you are 12 gauge for life. Which, as you said, as long as it keeps your interest, which is what any wrestler should keep in mind. If you're
Mhm.
starting to lose interest in what you're doing, do something different. And sometimes that means leave. Sometimes that means go somewhere else. Sometimes that means reinvent yourself. But
Right.
what kind of feedback did you get from Rocky after saying that?
I mean, he basically just hugged me like his brother and told me he loved me and how much he cared about me, which I do really appreciate. And I mean, that decision to say Chris Crunkk is 12 gauge for life, which is probably the soundbite of the show, is
Yeah.
that was made in that ring, like right then. I did not say anything to Rocky or anyone beforehand that I
Mm-mm.
would even talk, much less that I was going to announce that, like, hey, I'm going to be on the 12 gauge roster. I wanted to have that match, see how I felt, see how I felt about the show, and then afterwards just like spill it all out. And that is kind of how it all came together. I try to speak from the heart and not pre-plan all my promos. I try to just get in the ring and talk like I'm Chris Crunkk and let them know who I am as a person, not this broadcasted character.
Right. Absolutely. And the ones that come off as more authentic are always the ones the fans will either get behind or get in front of the fastest.
Right.
But I'm trying to read through Kyle Charisma's comment slash question. I may just read it verbatim and try to edit it as I need to. I think he did an okay of keeping the language down this time, but we all know Kyle Charisma, and if you don't, go to a 12 gauge show, and I promise you, you will not forget Kyle Charisma. He is to call him the ring announcer might be insulting the ring announcers and himself because he's so much more than that. He's taken on a life of his own to where fans actually like him. He doesn't want to hear that, but let's see. To quote Kyle Charisma, first things first, I want to congratulate Gary. It's Jeremy, by the way. He doesn't know my name, which is fine. On having someone along the caliber of Kyle Charisma on the show. So he at least thinks of you as equals or somewhere close, I guess. That's a plus.
Right.
Chris Crunkk is an absolute talent and he's earned his flowers, but his caboose hasn't earned to have smoke blown up it, so I digress. My issues lie with Joey What's His Face and his shenanigans at the last show. So Kyle has had a list of people that are probably going to punch him soon,
Yeah.
and we might start selling raffle tickets because I think it's going to be great. What else did he say? So Chris, my question to you is: how did you come to work with the quote throat goat unquote? Follow up question because we actually already went over that. Kyle, hopefully you were listening to the broadcast then. How? Wow, yeah. Follow up. I am not going to repeat because we're going to try to keep this a kid friendly show. He wanted to. He was wanting to know that if you're going to call yourself the throat goat, how
I can
how
touch on
many
so
how many people did you have to impress to get that? That's kind of what he's saying with that.
yeah, so Joey is battle tested on the microphone, where he has been thrown into situation after situation where he's been in front of people that have always doubted him because they
Mm-hmm.
either don't know who he is or he didn't go to some fancy pantsy like training school or anything like that. He just DIY. And so when he gets in the ring, they don't expect a lot. But when he lights up that microphone, they're going to remember who he is because he can rip anybody to shreds. He can put the product over if he wants to, and he
Mm-hmm.
can make remember his name at the end of the day.
Yep. So don't take it personal, Joey, that your last name slipped my mind. It's been a long week. I think we can all attest to that. But as I said, we are talking to the man, the myth, the legend. He is Chris Crunkk. You talk about training schools. First, let's talk about the sort of the one you kind of cut your teeth in a little bit. It wasn't really a training school, but you got your start up in the Tennessee area. You said Tennessee Championship Wrestling, correct?
Yeah, so I was a backyard wrestler, um, self-trained. I actually had a VHS tape called Wrestling Exposed. You
Mm-hmm.
can look that up, and it teaches you the 5 secrets of wrestling. And I remember them very well because there's way more to wrestling than 5 things.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
time that's like what I taught myself. Me and my friends, we would study tape and learn any move we could or like how anything happened. I was a real. This is 2007 when I first got into wrestling, so I was like a real big like Ring of Honor kid. I was a real big like get bootleg Japan DVDs because I love
Yeah.
Japanese wrestling. I still do to this day, and so that's all I wanted to do. And I found out about schools. There was a school named WWA4 in Atlanta
Yep.
at the time. And when we graduated high school, me and my friends, we were going to go there and we were going to train there. And at the time, I was backyard wrestling and we were like, selling tickets to the kids in the high school. But we had found out about rinky dink shows in the area, is what I called them. And they were like little outlaw shows, like just like
Hmm.
maybe the ring set up and that's it. And like
Yeah.
sometimes there was sound, sometimes there was chairs, sometimes there may be a little bit of production, but mainly just a ring. And I would just during the intermission, I would get straight in the ring with my friends, and we would just start suplexing each other, anything we could do, because this is all we cared about. And one of the guys walked up to me. He goes, "Hey, that was pretty good. You're a wrestler?" And I said, "Of course. I've always been a wrestler. You know." They didn't ask me like who I got trained by, nothing like that.
Nope.
They were like, "Well, we need a guy for Saturday at this show. Can you be there?" And I was like, "Of course." And so I showed up with my little gear bag with my like, generic looking century kick pads and whatever else I
Yep.
had at the time. And I went out there and I wrestled some guy uh, in my very first ever match. And that's just how it worked. My name at the time was Chris Love. And they asked me, they were like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Chris Love." They were like, "Well, you can't use that. There already is a guy named Love." And I was like, "Well, I don't know what to do." And they were like, "Well, what else can you do?" And I was like, "I can rap." And they're like, "You're Chris Crunkk." And I was like, "All right." And that's how I got the name.
Wow. Wow. See, it's not just John Cena that can get by with a rap gimmick. Us white guys, we got to show people we're good with words.
That's right. We can rhyme them too.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I gonna say? I had a whole train of thought and I derailed myself by talking about white guys rapping. That is on me. Up there's the co-host. Who is your tag team partner there?
This is Kitty.
Ah, there's Kitty. There's a couple of those running around here somewhere. I'm surprised they haven't made appearances, but I already know that's your tag team partner when Joey is not around. So always
Right.
good to have those. Um, I think we're just gonna swap to this.
Okay.
We talked about your kind of starting this and how there's the you did some backyard stuff and then it got into more formal and obviously you learned as you went there. Your opponent coming up this weekend at the 12 gauge pro wrestling show, 4:30 bell time up there at Rome at the fairgrounds, the Coosa Valley Fairgrounds, is the Vision Orion. Now
Yes.
he's a little bit of a journeyman too. But he found a home a handful of years ago at a place called the Dark Arts Gym. And to catch people up real quick that aren't real familiar with him, he is one of four trainers down there, and maybe you've heard of the other three. There's Alistair Black, or Malachi if he wants to go by that. There's Zelina Vega, and there's a guy who is probably about to get signed by the big company named Vincent.
Right.
And if you're unfamiliar with those three people, go Google them after you watch this show. But I know you know a little bit about his background. You guys may have crossed paths a little bit. What do you know about Orion?
Orion is a who's who of athletic wrestler. He's hard hitting. He's one of the better high flyers to ever exist. Honestly, like it's kind of crazy because I got put in the ring with Ryan Marks last time, and it was kind of like everybody was like, "Hey, this is a test for Ryan Marks to see how far he can go,"
Yeah.
and then it's like a flip of the coin because now I'm the one that's getting tested because you're
Yeah.
putting me in a ring with somebody who has been there, done that. There's probably not a major promotion that he hasn't worked for. He is
Right.
currently, and I mean currently, like weekly, like daily throughout the week, training with WWE superstars and making sure that they stay in shape and that they're ready for their matches. He's in the ring, probably more technical than anybody that you'll ever see. He's a better
Mm-hmm.
high flyer. He's got better cardio. He's a heavy hitter. He's one of the best to ever do what he's doing. And he's proved
Yeah.
that by
Yep.
having the position that he has right now.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip of the coin, it's going to be someone like me, the DIY little backyard wrestler, indie guy, Chris Crunkk, that's going to come in there and prove to him that it's not about this journey. It's about who you are at the end of the day in here.
Yep. I think absolutely so. And our when we were talking about having you on the show, I asked you if you had saw our chat from earlier in the week. Because he did have some choice words because he had said similar that he said, yeah, I haven't heard from this guy not one bit, haven't seen a video, haven't seen nothing. I mean, where is he? Is he on his couch? Uh, Oddly enough, where is he? Is he in hiding or whatever? He got a little animated about it, and he said you need to bring your A game, or it might not go so well for you.
Yep. The one thing I like about Orion that he said, there's a lot that he said that I don't agree with. A lot of these said that I don't like. But the one thing I like that he said is he said that he always tells the truth. And I respect that because you should always
Hmm.
tell the truth. He's right. Look at me. I'm on my couch right now. Isn't that crazy? It's like he knows me. But
Right?
not a promo guy. I'm a real person, a human being that does this because I love it. Does this because I love the chase. I want to be in that ring every day. I don't just go to my freaking 50 to 60-hour job to pay my bills to then I also play full-time soccer for no reason. I do that because that's what I love to do. I want to be a provider. I want to stay in shape. But at the end of the day, I want to be a pro wrestler. And that is who I truly am. And so even though sometimes I'm on this couch, and that may be for a lengthy period of time, that does not mean that I have lost my step. That does not mean that I have faltered in any way. I am still me at the day. I am the truth. And I am going to show him that he can train all he wants. And he will probably get in that ring and show me and teach me things that I have never learned. But I can guarantee you that he is going to take what he learns from me back to his school and teach that to his own students.
Yep, because as I said on that show, he is bringing a caravan of killers with him. He is not coming alone. He's
Right.
bringing a good many of his students that will also be on the show, and I think some that won't even be there. Is there a little bit of an intimidation factor with him kind of bringing his crew with him? Because I know you'll have your crew with you as well.
Yes. I mean, I love a good challenge, but there's nothing more that I love for a challenge for me than a challenge for just the state of Georgia alone. When these guys come up here, they're not coming up here to play or just be a rinky dink act. No, they're coming out there to challenge Georgia wrestling. They are going to step in the ring with those Georgia wrestlers and show them that this is what it's like to train every day of your life for this. And I really hope it wakes a lot of those guys up because there are some absolute dogs in Georgia wrestling right now. And they need to be woken up because this is their time to show the world what they're capable of doing and branch out and show those other guys that, hey, Georgia is where pro wrestling thrives.
Absolutely. And as we're finishing up in the last few minutes here with Chris Crunkk, pretty easy questions I am going to throw your way here. First off, what is kind of your final message to the fans of 12 gauge and just fans of the show in general as to why they should come check this show out?
Listen, 12 gauge pro wrestling is new, and new is scary, but new is also something that is going to be what you want to experience. Georgia is known for the constant repeat. You kind of always have the same group of guys. You kind of always have the same
Mhm.
main events. You kind of always have the same little cliques that run around. It's time to start something new. And one thing I respect about Rocky Shaw is he has young, hungry, honestly, fresh, fresh
Mhm.
talent in that building. And it is going to take a second for them to get their feet and be able to show the world what they're capable of. But once they get going, 12 gauge is going to be an unstoppable product. And I'm going to make sure that I'm there and that I'm in the ring with those new, fresh, young talent because I want to make sure that I'm not just an old flame, that I'm still here to compete. And so 12 gauge is where you're going to want to be.
And then finally, what is your message to the Vision Orion about how you think Sunday afternoon is going to go?
I've said a lot of stuff about Orion. He really kind of like irked me with his pandering lines where he was like, hey, if you bought a ticket, you're not a part of the show. You sit there and you watch the show. I'm the talent. Hey, man, that's great. I'm talent too. But those people that paid for those tickets are the reason why I have a job and the reason why I'm getting paid. And so trust me, if you come to that event, I'm going to make sure that you know that you're a part of the show. And I'm going to use that energy that you guys create to take on someone that has traveled the world, been on every major company, currently training WWE superstars, an absolute goat in the ring. It's just I'm going to be that guy that defeats him.
I think that's all that needs to be said with that. If these two interviews that we've had this week with Chris here now and Ryan the other night doesn't entice you to come to this show, you probably want to check yourself for a pulse, because this is the main event, folks. This is a lot more than just for the sake of winning a wrestling match. There is a lot on the line this Sunday. Got to kind of teach the got to kind of teach the
Listen, my boys are here.
oh,
These are the boys.
What's up?
That's
how's it
Superstar
going,
Brad
boy?
Andrews, and that's the Candyman, Adrian Ackle.
Hey, guest cameos at all times. There'll be future guests on this show as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing them in 12 gauge at some point here soon. But
Every day.
if all of our chats don't get you excited about this, check your pulse. This is going to be one of the most must-see shows in West Georgia this weekend. You will see this guy, you will see that guy, and you will see the Vision of Ryan. And I promise you, this is a match you do not want to miss. Chris, it has been great having you on the show. We look forward to seeing you Sunday, and we look forward to you battling for the people against these kind of rival groups coming in.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
And we will see everybody later down the road. It's been a special edition Strong Style. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys next time. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling.